Hi everyone, welcome back to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. It's the program for women, about women, and by a woman. Oh, we do throw a few men in there occasionally. But here we talk about the traumas, the struggles, the abuse, the hurts, the pains, the many hats our women have had to wear. Sure enough, we talk about their triumphs. You know, the superwoman, yeah, we talk about those too. On set, I have another unique woman. Her story has left me in tears for days thinking about it. And I didn't even talk to her that much. I actually saw it on Facebook, actually. What would lead a woman, a godly woman, to Facebook to share her pain, her disappointment, her hurts? Well, when we come back, she's going to tell us. But just before you go, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and get some juice and come back. Soon come back.
Transformational Chat with Simone Stewart and friends, a free women's virtual event where we'll have real conversations, real stories, and real encouragement given by real women. Coming to talk with us, we'll have Tanisha Shaw, aka Click Click Pow, former dancehall girl, Carol Fisher, speaker, trainer, project manager, Nikisha Baylis, author, minister, fashion designer, and Sheena Hansen, former lesbian, speaker, and YouTuber. Join us on Zoom on Sunday, February 28th from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for Transformational Chat. You simply can't afford to miss it.
Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength.
So, Michel Blackwood, welcome on set to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know if I must say I was looking forward to this day. Having you reached out to me and then taking in your story, I wanted to know more. And so it's such a pleasure to have you on set. And like I've been telling you, girl, you look like such a queen. You're so beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me. It is indeed a pleasure and a blessing to be here today. And I just have to give God all honor and praise to be able to be here to share my story.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to myself, God, if it's even one person's life that it has touched or have an impact on or I can help, then I know it is well done with Him.
I'm going to, normally I have this thing where I start with my guests sharing a little about themselves. But somehow, Michel, I think we need to, for you, I want to dive into your story. Because it seemed, as I listened to your Facebook sharing, and I went through the comments too, I could see that a lot of persons were touched. But share with us what would have led up to that. So let's start out with you at age 18.
All right. I was born in Westmoreland.
Yeah.
And then my mom took me to Kingston to live with her. So I don't know whatever challenges that she had as a young mother. She thought best to take me to Manchester to my grandmother. And there in Manchester, it wasn't pretty because my grandmother didn't really want that responsibility at the moment. So my mom decided that, guess what, you're going to stay here in Manchester, whether they want to take you or not. So she left me on a shop piece. I can vividly remember that she gave me a bun, one of them spice bun and a juice in my hand. And she said to me, when you see the bus drive off, draw the bag and take it back down to your grandmother. So with her not being there, they would have to take me.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother, she took me to the police station because there wasn't any cell phone at that time.
Yeah.
So she took me to the police station and filed a report. But there's no phone. Yeah. So I mean, nothing came out of it, really. Now she called my dad, and not called my dad, she sent a message to my dad, who was living in St. Elizabeth with his wife at the time. And he came and got me like a week after. So after going to my father, his wife started to abuse me and treat me bad also. He took me to live now with my aunt in Manchester. And that's where
Manchester.
That's where life started. I was even saying to my husband, my former husband, this morning that, look, it seems like God had a purpose for me to be in Manchester with my aunt, because it wasn't always easy growing up, but she had instilled some morals and values in me that when I look in the mirror, she didn't birth me, but I see a lot of her reflection in me today, to be honest. So I grew up with my aunts, and I was brought up in church. So growing up with my aunt, I would normally go to church with her. She would like when I DJ for her at church, so we'd go to concerts and I would DJ. And that was my life. Because honestly, growing up in the community, a lot of persons didn't really know me because I was always under her wings, going to church, to school, back home. And I was saying that, God, you've been protecting me for what? A time as this. He has been keeping me for such a time as this. As in Malachi with Esther, she was an orphan. Yet I was not an orphan. But my mom made that decision for not having me with her. But God kept me for this time.
Have you ever tried reaching out to your mom to find out why she left you?
Well, to be honest, we have a relationship. I met my mom after 22 years, August of 2020. While working in the States, I met her. She came back. So it's not like I didn't know her. If I see her, I wouldn't know her. Yes. And we talk on the phone, but I would go on the work and travel program for years, and she would say, oh, I'm coming, and she never turned up. So my brothers came over. I met them for the first time. They were born in the States also.
Oh, so she was overseas?
Oh. She lives in New York. So I've been on the program for 4 years now, going into my 5th year. And she never showed up. But I have forgiven her for years. I could not have her up in my heart any at all. Because I always look on it, the mere fact that she gave me life, I'm grateful. The mere fact that she decided to carry me for 9 months, I am grateful. And it leads me back to Moses. Moses was brought for 9 months, but his ending should have been death. But God favored him and had a purpose for him. So I believe in myself that God has a purpose and a plan for me.
So you're living with your aunt, everything is good, but somehow at age 18 you think you're a bigger man.
Well, living with my aunt, having struggles, you're in the home, you're a teenager, you feel like, you're at the age where, look, I can't take this anymore, whatever is going on in the yard, I can't take this anymore. So I met this man. He had a business place in the community. He's actually way older than I am. And I decided that, look, this is my lifeboat, sure, I just gonna run away. So I packed my clothes up, pack it up in pillar bag. You know what is a pillar bag? The pillar case. Yes. And I packed it up, and I daily take out 2 pieces out and leave what I wanted to be left in the drawers. So just in case she gets suspicious. I remember we have can I say pit latrine? Yes, I know they must know. Jamaican, you're in the country, yes. I remember I went down there, and because growing up I wasn't like the brain person. I wasn't a bright person, a brilliant child growing up, to be honest. But they talk about late bloomer. I was somewhat of a late bloomer growing up. And I remember I went down to the pit toilet with my paper and my pen and the dictionary, just in case I misspell a word. I went to look in the dictionary to find the word. And I wrote a letter to my aunt. I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but I wrote a letter to my aunt. And on the day that I decided to run away and get married, I was working at the basic school in the community. And I told the principal there that I was getting married. Now, my aunt doesn't know about this wedding. I planned wedding, and she doesn't know about it. And it's like everybody that heard about it was so much against it. Like, look, this was sign for you not to get into it. Everybody was like, look, no, that's not for you. That's not for you. But I keep reminding myself, you know, after going through all of this, that God, it was for a purpose, because that's the family that my children should have been conceived in. Because I have 2 boys with this man. So we got married. We ran away and we got married. Tell you that there was something else. I was up the house getting dressed, so the nails and the hair done same place. And I tell you something, I didn't even wear underclothes because I was in so much rush to get out, and I heard my aunt was down the gate in a car. So finally get in the car that was taking us to get married, and we sped off, and you know, that was it. And for years, there was so much hurt that I wouldn't even go down to my aunt's house. She was living like probably 3 houses away.
Whoa. So you were still living close by?
Yes.
Was it your choice or was it your aunt's choice?
I think more of being ashamed of what I did.
Oh, this was after
we got married, yes. And I left. I would not go back home, even though it was so close. So my bishop and his wife became my mother and father. And in spite of the mistake that I made, what I chose to do, they took me under their wings. So whenever time I was going through any problem or anything, I could rely on my bishop wife to be that tower of strength for me. When I run out of sugar or milk for the children, I could rely on my bishop wife to say, look, I'm short on sugar, I'm short on milk. And she would give it to me, and I know that would be something that would be thrown back in my face, because look at it. If I had returned home to my aunt to say, Mommy, call her Mommy, I love her, my mom. And it would look away for me to just go back and say, Mommy, you know, the baby don't have any last score, the baby don't have any whatever.
But let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
I've shared it with a few of my young people that if you're going to make a decision to do something and key people in your life, you are afraid to share it with them, don't do it. Don't do what you were planning on doing, because it's usually a red flag. And it usually down here. Your gut never lies. And to do a test of your gut is if the key people in your life, you're afraid to share with them that, hey, I'm going to get married, I'm going to do this, then it means that something is wrong. But for some strange reason, I don't know, we don't listen.
True. That's
we run
still
ahead.
Small boys, honestly.
Right. But I want us to talk about, you're married.
Yes.
Let's talk about that marriage. Because that marriage is what basically, because you know your video has somewhat gone viral, right?
No, that was the whole
point of it.
Yes.
But talk about that marriage. What was it like being in that marriage? Were you ever happy?
To be honest, I think a half of a year. A half of a year is so much. Before we even got married, he had a young lady that he was along with next door. Well, people would say a stone throw away. And he was along with her. That relationship did not end. And she was in my life along. It was always 3 of us. It was always me, him, her, on the other hand. And I realized that he didn't break off with her, and things started to go downhill. And I think it became even worse when I had my first son, or when I was expecting my first son. Because in expecting my first son, you know, a new mother, you're married, you're happy, you know, you're expecting, you're so excited because, you know, everybody talk about having a baby, being a mother, you know, that joy, that pride you have, you know, as a young girl, and knowing that it's not out of wedlock, because I was brought up in the church. So I always tell myself I don't want to have any children out of wedlock. So having been brought up in the church, that I was so excited about this. And I remember he used to run the business. I used to be there. So I remember I started feeling sick. And a friend of mine came by and I said, "You're going to Mandeville?" And she said, I said, I want you to buy a pregnancy test for me because I don't like how I feel. And she bought it. Being my friend, she's going to be excited if, she hears that I might be pregnant.
Yeah.
And she came up the house with me and she said, I'm not leaving until you take the test, I'm not leaving until you take the test. I took the pregnancy test and it was positive.
Yeah.
So now I'm excited because I'm going to be a mother. And knowing what I've went through with my mother, the hopes and the dreams I have for my no child, I'm just there telling myself, look, I'm never going to leave my child. I'm going to be the best mom in the world, because I too had my nieces that was in the home with me by my aunt that I was there helping to take care of also. So husband come home, excited with the pregnancy test. I can just remember, I'm here telling you and I can remember it clearly. And I went to the door and I handed it to him. I said, I'm pregnant, And he said to me, who buy the pregnancy test for you? I told him the young lady's name. And he said to me, you going to tell people how you're pregnant? I mean, people no want to pick in them yard. I was crushed. Yeah. My heart fell to the floor, and I'm sure the earth opened up, and my heart went through.
He said, my people in the one body and picking in the yard. Is it that you were living with his?
All right, his mom and dad lives overseas. Now they're retired and they're back home. So it's the family's house that we were living. So I was there caring that family house, right? So he said to me, his people, the one to pick near them yard and him the one to pick near him yard and whatever the case was. And it breaks every fiber of me.
So let me ask you something, because again, and persons can go and watch the video because it's out there.
Yes.
When did the abuse start? Was the abuse before the pregnancy or after? What triggered it? What do you think triggered the abuse? Physical abuse we're talking about.
I honestly cannot tell you. But I remember the first time my first son was a baby. And I remember this that when I had him, I've been bleeding a while after having the baby, and when you would expect for the bleeding to stop, it would prolong. And I remember one day I said to him, I'm going to ask you to watch the baby for me. And I run down the health center to see, And to him, I wanted to leave the baby to go and see a man. Which it wasn't so. And I was a bit rude to him too. I remember he trucked me in the bathroom. We were downstairs and he trucked me in the bathroom. And the bathroom is like a tile section, they tile it up. And I bounced right over in the shower, tore down the curtain. And I remember the way he grabbed me, the bra strap broken, And I ran out and I went down to my bishop wife and I was telling her what had happened. And, they talked to him. And I went back up. But the bruise were on my arms for days. I have thin skin. So the least poke you poke me is going to leave a mark. And I have to be telling people I fell. Something else to kind of change the conversation.
It's the battered woman syndrome, we call it. We camouflage.
Oh my God.
Because we don't want anybody to know that we're being abused.
Yes.
Was he involved in the church?
Yes, he was actually going to church. He got baptized when he married to me. Because I was saying, look, he actually came in the church for me. He actually came in the church for me. So what was said about him, that he came in the church like wolf in sheep clothing to pull out the best one. Because a lot of persons maliced him. Because the guys would say in the community, you come and you take the best jewel out. And this is it at the end of the day. So he was actually going to church, but I wouldn't say that he was saved. Because you can be baptized and not saved.
That's true. But Michel, you stayed.
Yes, I did.
You stayed. So you have son one, then comes son two. There is, I think you heard it in the interview, in your sharing, that you did a surgery, and when you came home from the surgery, you didn't even get a chance to be properly fixed up. But he was share that part with us.
All right. In February of, I think it's 2011, thereabouts, I had a major surgery. But prior to that surgery, I was pregnant a third time. And my husband found that money so quickly for me to abort my baby. I remember walking, hoping that he would actually call me back and said, look, if it's one dumpling, we share it between them and we'll be good. But no. So after that had happened and I saw this sickness come upon me, I was saying, God, what if it had something to do with me doing that abortion? And I was there questioning God, Lord, I did something wrong. I had to repent, honestly, because it's not like I don't know the word of God. I know the word of God. And I know what it says about all of that. I know God is strongly against it. So right there when I got ill, I thought that God was punishing me for that. And the way that sickness came upon me too, if I was somebody who would walk around and believe that, oh, it's obia them, obia me, because of how it happened. So I did the surgery, got home to a dirty room. Even though he had the 2 children taken care of while I was in the hospital, because I was in the hospital for about a week or almost 2. And because of my sinus, I couldn't stay in that dusty, dirty room. So even with me being bandaged up and all, I'm going to start clearing down the bed, taking down the curtains, starting to fix up. To make, because you're sick, you're home, persons are going to come and look for you. I don't want to be lying down in that condition. And I remember my mom and another church sister came up and she saw me putting up the curtains. And she took it from me and she put it up. I think it was about a week after me being home. He came in the room because I did the surgery the 1st of February. Now my anniversary would have been the 14th of February. So you see how close it was. And he was saying to me, oh, I was on the road talking to so-and-so and they would say, if it's even to rub it on it. That's what he came in and said to me. And I was like, is this man for real? I took out a mass from my stomach that was almost the size of a 7-month-old baby. It took out an ovary from me. So you know the deepness of that surgery. And he did not consider me to say, well, then it's my wife. She's hurting. But even before me going to do the surgery, I remember when I got ill that Friday, I dropped the kids at school. And he said, we have the shop running and he does a little cooking. So we were there. And he said to me, I want sex this evening. Because he's always about sex. And I said, I'm not feeling well. I remember in the bar section, we have a pool table. Now, I don't know how to play pool. The table is there, but it's not something that interests me. So I would go and play it. And I remember, he said, let's play a game of pool. And if I win, I'll get the sex. And if you win, then we don't do anything tonight.
So you lose the game?
No, I did not. I did not lose the game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I cannot tell you how it happened, but it did happen. I did not lose that game. That he was in shock to see that I did not lose the game. And I was saying, oh, let us go for a second round. I said no. Because I knew the pain that I was feeling on the inside. We went home the night, trying to go up the stairs. I have to be holding up the belly to climb the stairs to go to the room. And he did not get his sex. He was upset. I was there sick for the weekend. I had to wash the children's clothes myself. Even though we had a little machine washing it, but I had to take out, rinse, put it on the line. Right. And I remember I stood under the clothesline that Saturday. And I looked up to God. And I said, God, I pray Monday morning when I go to the clinic that I'm so sick. Believe me, because of what I was going through. And I was there saying to myself, my husband, in spite of how I left my parents' home and I came to you, you're supposed to protect me and not even an ounce of compassion on me. So, Michel, so that continued. It did. But it got a little worse when his parents came home.
And so the abuse moved now from physically, emotionally, mentally, every alley. With him to know his parents. Why? And they were witnessing, because based on what you said, they witnessed the fact that he was abusing you, physically abusing you. They were witnessing this.
Yes.
Hold on a moment. Guys, this is Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. And you are hearing Michel Blackwood. Yes, her video went live on or viral on Facebook. You would have heard her pouring out her heart. A woman hurt, passionate about her life, her children. And listening to her now, you're still hearing that passion. But I want to get out, that hurt, what took place, what's happening. So she's sharing, guys. And if you have any words of advice or anything, guys, feel free, put it in the comment box. And guys, of course, I want you to subscribe to the channel because here the stories are real. No camouflaging, is real. So, Michel, so what is it that you think was causing them now to be joining in to the abuse?
I honestly can't tell you. Because, Simone, I was dutiful. Because I tell you, I didn't have it up here, so I let my hands work for me. Yeah. I was dutiful. So that 2-story house, big house, I keep care. Yeah. So whenever time I know they're coming home, when they walk in, is a palace. I care. And I remember if I have friends coming over, anybody coming over, I couldn't even take them upstairs. I remember his father called me one day and said, I don't even come upstairs often and you have people here walking up and down in my house. I was like, God, I feel like a girl in this house. I'm a nobody. And I remember always calling his mom to tell her what was going on. And I felt at one point I was being annoyed. I was annoying her. Yeah. That I stopped talking to her. But when she came home, I remember one evening I went to the kitchen. I had a baby in my hand. And I said to her, I was there talking to her. And she looked boldly on me. Well, if you can't take the heat in the kitchen, get out. And there, I said to myself, God,
What made you go to Facebook?
I do devotionals on Facebook in the morning in my own way, or prefer to say my own unique way, right? I do devotional and I share it on Facebook because I'm a girl who loves God. When I say I love God, anywhere I go, I take him with me. So I shared my videos. So his mom now came on my video on one of them that I was talking about forgiveness. And, forgiving person, even if you're not wrong, sometimes you have to forgive them because you're living for God.
Right. And
she was on my page saying, oh, you run left your pitney them. And you're here on Facebook going on like you're all that. And at my stomach turn, I feel like I want to vomit. And then she made another comment on another one. And persons from the country who knows the history of everything started to reach out to me, saying, who is this woman bashing you and all of that? And I was there, and believe me, Simone, I don't know what had happened. But after 7 to 8 years, I cracked. And I decided that this is enough. I've left. I've not said anything to nobody. I've left, I've taken the criticism because he's there in the country with the 2 little boys. So everybody's going to say, oh, the worthless mother run left them. And I take it.
I want to interject here. Yes. The boys are not with you. They're with him.
With him.
Why was that so?
All right. After everything happened and I moved out, I was living with my aunt again. She took me back in. And I was in such a fear because he would drive down to the house and just park there or just show up. And this was in a time where, I don't know if you remember, there was this program on television where they were showing where the man, killing their partners. And I remember one night I was watching it and a fear came upon me so much that I started to cry. I couldn't sleep. I was there looking through the windows like I just couldn't sleep. Yeah. And I remember the morning I went upstairs and I said, Mommy, I'm going to go town because I'm in so much fear. And she said, Candy, fear of sin, but go on. Because she knew what I was going through. Anyway, I went to Kingston to live with her daughter, that is my sister, and started to work. I got a job. She seeked a job for me, unqualified. But after 5 of us showing up for that job, God favored me. I got that job. I was able to go in that business with them, you know, getting promotions and started to save my money. Now looking for my children, not seeing them. Have to take police to see them because he decided I'm not getting them. He held on to them from before I left. You know, he told me before that I have your passport, so you can't leave me. I said, what's my passport? You love your children so much, so you'll never leave them. So that seems like to me that it gives him a strength to do whatever he wanted to me, and it would be okay. So I left because of me living with my sister. The space was not there. So I had to leave it at that. So I went to the court. The judge had ordered for me to get them on weekends. Sometimes I work on weekends. Right. So sometimes I work on weekends, so I wasn't able to get them every weekend, but I would call him and say, whatever, I'm coming down. I still wouldn't get them. I buy stuff for them. At one point I bought some stuff and I left it at the school for the kids, and he ripped them up, food, and he dumped them in front of everybody.
Here's what I want to ask you. Where was the church in all of this, by the way?
My bishop. Now, before I had moved out, Simone, it's so much. It's so much. My bishop tried. He tried. He took us, he talked to us, he counseled us. They both did. They asked him, look, give her some space. Give her some space. So, whatever is going on, she'll be able to sort it out and then come around. He wouldn't do that. Because for him, I had started a nails business, started to save my money, open a bank account. He said, it's a man do it. Everything, it was a man. But it's not that the church wasn't there. My bishop was there for me. They were there for me. So, in me leaving, all they would actually do is call, encourage me. Because it's not like they haven't been there from the beginning to know what was going on.
We're about to wrap up because I'm going to be tagging that Facebook message, so persons can see to understand where we're going. But here's what I want to ask you: what do you want out of this? Having come out, what do you want? What do you want?
Me, I have forgiven them, Simone. And that is the first step. And what I want, why I am actually here today, is for somebody else to know that you're not alone. I had to seek God, and God became my strong tower, my strength. So it's not like I'm seeking anything from them, but it's just to help somebody else. I can't say they have forgiven me, because if you had forgiven me as a pastor, a woman of God.
Oh, she's a pastor?
She is a pastor.
Okay.
So that is what had pushed me even more to really speak my truth. And when I look at it, I said, you haven't forgiven me. After so many years, I would see you, I'd embrace you, because guess what? In spite of it all, I remember what you had done for me before all of this had happened.
I want you to do me a favor. Yes. I want you to look in the camera. I want you to talk to her, because I think you have something to say to her, and I'm hoping that this will create an opportunity for you guys to meet up, because this doesn't look good in the kingdom, right? That's the reality. It doesn't look good in the kingdom, and we are not giving Satan a stronghold.
No.
1, 2, we're not going to create any generational thing to come down through the lines, your lines, her lines, into your sons and continue. We're breaking that in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
So we're going to take a minute, right? You're going to talk to her. If you want to call her name, it's up to you. You don't have to.
I choose not to.
Right. Call her, talk to her. And I'm hoping that she will see this. You'll get this, so you'll be able to tag it on your Facebook page and stuff. That it will create peace one way or the other. So speak genuinely from your heart to her. I'm giving you a minute to talk to her.
Well, I choose not to call your name, but I just want to say this evening that I have forgiven you and have genuinely forgiven you. I took to Facebook to really speak my truth about the situation, knowing that you had known what was going on. And I'm hoping that you will find it in your heart to also forgive me of whatever hurt it is that is actually there, so we can move forward from all of this, especially for my two boys who are supposed to be grown up to be kings and being a good husband to their wives. Let us make this better. And I'm here today asking you to, whatever it is, forgive me, because I have forgiven you already. I have already forgiven you.
Do you want to say anything to your ex-husband? Do you want to say anything to your boys?
Yes. Now, Samuel and Octavian, Mommy loves you. Both. From the depths of my heart, the core of my spirit. I know, Samuel, you're upset with me now because in your eyes I told a lie on your dad. And it is not settling well with you. And I hope in my heart that when you reach maturity, you will be able to understand why I choose to do this. I'm asking you to find it in your heart to understand and forgive your mom for not being there for the small little things, you know? But it was either for me to save myself, so you were able to malice me now, honestly, or to kill myself. And I choose to live. I know you may not be happy with it, but I choose to live. Not saying that I choose anyone over both of you, because I love you. I can never turn my back on you. And this now that is happening, it doesn't sit well with my spirit, to be honest. Forgive me. Forgive me. I know you guys feel that I've wronged you, but forgive me, my babies. And I love you guys.
Michel, thank you so much for coming. Honestly, I really felt, as I prepared, that the Lord wanted to use this as a platform for you to speak. Continue to speak your truth, yes, but to speak your truth from a place of humility. And because sometimes, we can't get the persons up front. Yes. But I felt in my spirit, even as I was preparing last night, to create a platform for you to speak and to reach out. So you would have put forth the olive branch. Yes. And we hope that as a result, change will come. Please be sure to come back, reach back out to me, let me know when things have changed, because we are believing God, yes, that things will change. Thank you so much for coming. So much for having me. It's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribers, thank you. You heard it. Speaking her truth. Michel Blackwood. No camouflage. Just being as real and as raw as ever. There's so many of our women out there that they're hurting. And the sad part about it is that many of us, we have children, and our children hold us accountable. Some don't even talk to us because they don't know our pain, right? They know one side of the story. Uniquely Me is here to provide that platform again so that women can come and share their story, their truth, so that the others on the other side, I should say, will hear and understand. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and look forward to another exciting episode on Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me, definitely uniquely you.
For though we walk in the flesh,
We do not war after the flesh, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 2 Corinthians 10, verse 3 and 4. You are a warrior who is mindful that your enemies are not in the flesh, and the battle is not a natural one. You have been equipped in such a way that you are guaranteed to win. I really feel that someone reading or listening my devotions weekly needs this word. You feel like your back is against the wall. You're feeling helpless and defeated. You have been fighting in your own strength all this time. But I hear the Lord saying, be confident. Take the fight into the heavenlies. It is said that the eagle has to fight a snake, recognizing it can't fight on the ground. The only way it's going to win is to take the fight into the skies. The flip side is the snake is most powerful on the ground, but has no power in the air. Is your fight snakish? Take your fight where you are strongest. Get on your knees in prayer and call on the name of the Lord. Fight the battle in prayer and fasting and using the word of the Lord, which is the sword of the Spirit. You, my friend, are guaranteed to win. But we must know who we are and who our true enemies are. Know what our weapons are, and that's where the warfare really is. Are you ready for this? Launch out like the God warrior you truly are. Blessings.
Transformational Chat with Simone Stewart and Friends, a free women's virtual event where we'll have real conversations, real stories, and real encouragement given by real women. Coming to talk with us, we'll have Tanisha Shaw, aka Click Click Pow, former dancehall girl, Carol Fisher, speaker, trainer, project manager, Nikki Shabelis, author, minister, fashion designer, and Sheena Hansen, former lesbian, speaker, and YouTuber. Join us on Zoom on Sunday, February 28th from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for Transformational Chat. You simply can't afford to miss it.
Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.